There are 5 primary reasons that people can't dial in on TRT, and it's primarily related to the sexual function. If you could attack these 5 things, knowing what to do, at least knowing that they're problems, it's a lot easier to dial in on testosterone replacement therapy. It should be the case that we can inject 150 milligrams once every 7 days. The ester acts and behaves like it's supposed to act, where it kind of goes up and then you drop, but you stay physiologic and you feel really good, and your penis and your libido respond to that. It should be the case that we can and split that up and do 75 milligrams on a Monday, the 75 milligrams on a Thursday, with just enough HCG to keep the testicles functional, and all is well. But it just isn't the case. People need more. People need less. People need estrogen control. You got to find your right balance. You're fluctuating in and out of your zone, and it's maddening. Believe me, as a coach, I see this stuff all the time, and I want to give you the 5 primary reasons people have such a difficult time dialing in on TRT, and specifically what you can do about it. I'm going to give you a couple discount codes and run through some products real quick. These are the most popular, at least lately. High Dose TRT Mastery. It's our literal most popular video course. It's about an hour long. Shows you how to mega dose test, get the anabolism, but also get the libido and erections. Look, if you're tired of playing with medium doses and microdosing TRT, and you actually want to dial in with great sexual function and energy and anabolism, get High Dose TRT Mastery. It's 20% off down the description of this video. 2 most popular consults lately have been the TRT Protocol Audit. That's a 25-minute call with me. I'll audit your entire protocol and give you suggestions how to fix your biggest problems. And then secondarily, literally the most popular consult that we've ever had is the TRT Sexual Function Enhancement Consult. If you got libido and erection problems on TRT, this one is for you. 45-minute call with me, an online document with a command center of protocols generated from me, tailored to your physiology as well as adjustment routes. Get this down in the description or at livecortex.com. We have a source list, and we got courses on dosing, test cream, test cypionate. They're all 20% off. Code is on the screen, and all this can be found in the description of this video. Lastly, the 3 and 6 month coaching. We now have partnered with Affirm, so you could pay overtime if you want to book for actual ongoing coaching. All that stuff is down in the description of this video. Look, this is kind of a case in point. This dude went completely off of TRT. Got so frustrated, unable to dial in. It just decided to go off, and then got his erection quality back. Yeah, sure. If you go back to being a natty, well, then your body manages the metabolites for you, manages your entire system for you. And so long as the pituitary is pumping out the gonadotropins and the testicles respond, you're going to have erections and libido like a normal person would. Guykos, I know many have great sexual performance on TRT, but there are also many who suffer from ED. I was one of them. Never got morning wood on TRT for 4 years. In that time, I played around with every protocol. E2 was optimal for me. Test range between 600 and 1200 during the 4 years. Well, we'll talk about what he might have done to fix this in a second. I've been off TRT cold turkey for 11 weeks, and now my erection quality has returned. Waking up with morning wood more often. Just thought I might help someone who was wasting time trying to get dialed in. It made no difference to me. I had to get off. And this is a shame, man. I mean, this is somebody who's now not going to get the benefits of sustained testosterone, the benefits of high testosterone, the anabolism from androgens, the health benefits, the life longevity, the confidence, the masculinity, the physique benefits, the productivity, all this stuff this guy's not going to get because he just couldn't get dialed in terms of erections and libido probably on TRT. Now, I'm not going to attempt to diagnose this guy's situation, but I mean, if we look at it, he stayed between 600 and 1200. Yeah, I know from coaching, some guys need to be at 1400, right? That's their androgenic threshold under which they start losing sexual function and over which they're good, as long as the metabolites don't get skewed and estradiol sitting at 90 picograms per milliliter or something ridiculous. So probably guy needed to be at 1500. And that's the whole problem these days. This whole stigma of dosing high, dosing what you need. Forget about the weekly dose amount and forget about how it scares you to look at the bloods. What works? What works? Do that. I could go on Reddit and find literally 50 posts that are just like that within 10 minutes or so. And guess what? There's 500 other posts that are just like that if you hunt for them. People unable to dial in sexual function specifically on TRT. There's 5 primary reasons. I'm going to tell you why right now. And here's the thing. We're not going to reinvent the wheel. This stuff is so easy, and people are looking for it to be a lot more profound than it is. So they're missing what is right in front of them. The first reason you can't get dialed in terms of sexual function on TRT is just estrogen. It's just estrogen. Whether it is too low for your androgens or too high for your androgens, estrogen is like the single biggest modulator of our success on TRT. Right, it gets too high, your libido is going to be perfectly intact, or should be relatively intact, but erections are just not going to work. You're going to initiate sex or get into the act of masturbation, and you just can't. Nothing works. Like, the libido's there. You're feeling some sort of disconnect in the middle. The erection fails during sex. That's it. I mean, you're toast. That's an indication you've got to lower the estrogen, right? But in these cases, people tend to mess this up by taking too much AI, taking too much Primo, taking too much Masteron. Guys, all you need to do is get a ratio of DHT to estrogen that makes sense for your body, and it doesn't take much. Sometimes micro doses of anastrozole or micro doses of aromasin once every 5 to 7 days solves the problem completely. And if you're not crushing the estrogen, if you're not taking too much of the AI, you actually don't get joint pain, you don't get depressive mood, you don't get any of these weird disorders that come along with inhibiting aromatase too much, and you just feel dialed in. At the same time, I think I'm one of the first people to discuss this, although others have, just not to the extent that I have. Sometimes you can have too little estrogen for your androgens, right? I mean, especially if you're dosing high, or if you're kind of an underconverted estradiol, and such people do exist. So in that case, a little bit of exogenous estradiol or just bumping up the HCG dose should fix the problem. And in other cases, more tests, gapped out frequency, bigger peaks, and there you actually get the estradiol that supports libido and therefore erections. But listen, look no further than estrogen. I don't know why we've gotten away from the idea of looking at estrogen or managing estrogen. Some people don't need to. They're lucky. Their bodies naturally, based on their frequency and their use of HCG, the estrogen falls in a range where everything works. I'm basically like that at 250 a week. A little bit of HCG, 250, one shot every 7 days. I don't need to look at estrogen. Everything's fine. Oddly, though, down at TRT for me, like medium dose TRT 140, it's where managing estrogen actually matters more, because I don't have enough DHT to offset that estradiol. So I've got to manage it in most cases down at TRT levels. So you've got to figure out, okay, do you need to reduce the estradiol, or do you need to increase the estradiol relative to your androgens? You fix the estrogen problem, you're already 85% like ahead of the game, if not 100% dialed in. Second reason, again, these are simple, and it is more simple than people would have themselves believe. You're just not getting enough testosterone. Yeah, we are in this weird state of like prescriptive testosterone conservatism, where because we're worried about all the literature that, dates back to the 1950s, which we've now debunked, that, testosterone is bad for your heart, your prostate, and all these kinds of things, people just don't want to dose enough tests. At the same time, we're looking at our total weekly dose and then the bloods, which scare the literal shit out of guys, right? They're sitting at 1,600 nanograms per deciliter, and they're dosing 220 milligrams a week of testosterone. That scares people. They think they're doing steroid cycles, which they're not. Listen, use testosterone replacement therapy however you need to use it to get therapy from your testosterone replacement. There are comments in the comment section on YouTube, and there are clients that I've worked with who have to dose 300 milligrams a week, 350 a week. That's where they wake up with morning wood. They have erections that are great for sex. The libido's flaring all the time. They look good. They feel good. They're energized. No problems. Again, watch my videos on androgenic threshold, one that was recently done, I think, yesterday. People have an androgenic threshold on testosterone. It's not like your normal test, your endogenous test. Exogenous test is different. You just might need more. And you've got to find the point at which you have frequent nocturnals, erections for sex that are good, and great libido. So number 2 reason, it's just not enough test. It's just not enough test. I don't care if you're at 150. Maybe you need to be at 250. Third reason people can't dial in as a primary reason is you're going in and out of your zone. You're going in and out of your zone. And primarily that's because you haven't identified what that zone is, particularly what that zone is in terms of total test. Free test to an extent is somewhat of a surrogate there for success. But your androgenic threshold. So say your threshold is 1,200 nanograms per deciliter or above. Okay. You dose in your various protocols. Let's say in the middle of the week, you decide to dose an extra 300 IU of HCG just for the hell of it. Well, you've been sitting at 1,100 this whole time. The HCG, in terms of ITT and systemic testosterone, actually takes you over your threshold. Your erections come back, but then, later on in the week, they start failing again. Well, that's because you drop to 1,120 nanograms per deciliter. You're just below your androgenic threshold. You're going in and out of your zone. People will inject on these once weekly injections. They'll inject their 175 or their 200 or whatever. Day 2, day 3, day 4, erections galore. Just popping out of nowhere, having them at nighttime, great for sex. Days 4.5, 5, 6, things start to drop off. They fell out of the window, right? In most of these cases, they cross down below the androgenic threshold, and you've got to figure out a way how to stay there. The thing I see the most that troubles people is, well, I've got great erections for a few days here, and then everything goes away. They change protocols of great erections for a few days, then everything goes away. You're fluctuating out of your zone. You need to run to get blood work every time you're in a zone to understand your ratios and various doses. Period. You have to approach TRT scientifically, or you will not have great success. That's reason number 3. You're just going in and out of your zone. So next time you're there, get a snapshot of the bloods and know where the hell you need to be. 4th reason, and a lot of people are not going to want to hear this, is that you change protocols too quickly. If we're dealing with long-acting esters, the way that they, first of all, accumulate in the blood to their steady state, as well as they affect hormone receptor sites and gene expression, it takes 6 to 8 weeks. Okay, I don't care if you're on testosterone enanthate or if you're on testosterone cypionate, you're really looking at that long. Now, again, there's caveats or there's exceptions. If at week 3 you're having total ED, you have high libido, but your dick just doesn't work. Yeah, probably you're going too over in estrogen, and you might need to make an adjustment. But I mean, I've got people that, like, after 3 weeks of something, they want to change. I see this all the time. I've gotten people, I've tried every protocol. How have you tried every single, every protocol? You don't have enough time to try every protocol, considering how long you should be waiting in between protocol changes. You're changing too quickly. Don't change things prematurely. After a cypionate change, what you feel at week 2 is not going to be the same as what you feel at week 6. I can promise you it is not. Sometimes you're actually on the right protocol, or you may have been on many right protocols, but you never let it balance out. All right, just give it some thought. I know that you're impatient and you want to fucking change things. I understand. But if you change protocols too quickly, you're never going to dial in. So just please keep that in mind. 5th and final reason that people can't dial in on TRT is they're taking drugs or supplements that they have no idea are actually interfering with their erection quality and libido via chemical modulation of the brain, mostly. The lowest hanging fruit, finasteride, dutasteride, all the BPH or otherwise prostate supplements that are also blocking 5-alpha reductase and thus inhibiting your conversion to testosterone to DHT, like Sol palmetto. This stuff causes erectile dysfunction in some guys. Okay, finasteride, dutasteride, to a large extent, causes full-blown ED, sexual dysfunction of greater extent, libido dysfunction, sometimes gender dysphoria. Okay. People are smoking kratom or taking kratom. Yeah, well, guess what that does? Blocks dopamine receptors, increases prolactin. That will shut down your sexual function, both from the brain perspective as well as the base of your penis. You're taking serotonergic drugs, SSRIs. They'll kill your sexual function. Serotonergic supplements that you don't even think are serotonergic. High-dose L-theanine, okay? That's a nootropic. It's serotonergic. It can shut down sexual function when taken in too high doses. Other nootropics that influence serotonin, they can shut down sexual function. You've got to be careful. Other supplements that might be serotonergic or might be blocking dopamine. There are some that exist. You've got to do an analysis, an audit of what you're taking. Recognize some shit causes sexual dysfunction. It's very, very documented, very proven. I've seen it over the last 15 years. And that's essentially it, okay? It's about the estrogen. Maybe you're not taking enough test, right? You're going in and out of your zone and you don't snapshot the blood so that you can stay there. You change protocols too quickly, or you're taking stuff that's interfering with sexual function. This isn't rocket science, TRT. How is it that some of us have ragers pretty much every night? Great erections for sex. Libido's fucking off the charts. Everything works good. Okay, anybody can dial in on TRT, okay? It just requires getting those 5 things straight and doing the right things. But look, I mean, this is why I built all these products, Mastering Libido and Erections on TRT. That's a downloadable PDF that you can literally have now and forever that shows you how to dial in on any ester. Mastering Testosterone Cypionate specifically for high-level sexual function. You can get that video course down in the description of this video. High-dose TRT Mastery, our most popular course. I mean, these days, I feel the tide shifting. People are tired of playing with small and medium TRT. They want to see what it's like on the other level. Getting the anabolism like a madman, but also having libido and erections that you should have. Don't you want to go back to when you were 16, 17, 18 and your libido was bothering you all day and you were popping erections out of nowhere? That's what high doses of test, if you dial them incorrectly, can do, and I show you how in this video course. It's 20% off. It can literally be yours now. You could start experimenting tomorrow. Code's on the screen. Get it down in the description of this video. Source list. Look, sometimes you're going to need to circumvent the clinic or get stuff that you may need to dial in. Get it on source list. Again, boys, if you need my help, this is all I do from 9 in the morning till about 5 p.m. with the exception of eating and the gym break. and some content. Our most popular consulting programs at the moment are the TRT Protocol Audit. It's a 25-minute call with me. I'll listen to your entire protocol, get to the bottom of what's wrong, tell you what to change. But importantly, if you got sexual dysfunction, specifically libido and erection problems, and cannot fix it, this is the consult to get. It's our actual most popular consult that we've ever put out ever. It's the sexual function enhancement consult. 45-minute deep call with me. An entire audit of everything you've done, your history and your response patterns. An online command center that is yours to keep forever, on which I will generate targeted protocols to fix libido, to fix erections, and adjustment routes. So if the first one doesn't work perfectly, which it should, you will have instructions on how to adjust it to perfection. It's for people that don't want ongoing coaching cycles, and you can get this in under a minute at livecortex.com. If you do need to book me for coaching, there's a 3-month program and a 6-month program. You're working one-on-one with me, and now you can pay overtime, okay? We're working with a firm. You can select that option at checkout and just pay $100 a month or $150 a month, whatever it is your credit ends up suggesting that you pay, but you don't have to pay the whole thing up front. If you'd like to, you can do that as well. All right, you can book me for consulting or long ongoing coaching in under a minute at livecortex.com, and all those links are down in the description of this video. All right, my brother and Test, I hope you're having a great week, dude. I hope you enjoyed the video. A bunch more content coming this week. Look out for that for the rest of the week. Live stream coming Saturday. I'll see you boys there. Like the video. Makes a huge difference. Sub to the channel. I want you on board. Kick ass, rock on, enjoy the rest of your day. And bro, I'll talk to you in the next one.